Merry Christmas, everyone. Welcome back. This is M-Dog, of course, and we are taking a look at several things, really, in this video. And I'm have a general idea of kind of where we're headed, but I could change my mind as we go. But I'll tell you the general idea is I want us to take a look at the recent patch notes because there are some significant things on there. I want us to take a look at the New Year's Fair, although we're going to be very brief. And if you want more detail on the New Year's Fair items, I have previous videos, and there's very little new this year. So we'll get there in a little bit, but just as a heads up, we're going to be very brief on the New Year's Fair. And then finally, we're going to talk about what appears to be the new way that we're doing the gift opening here in RF4. And kind of hopefully, if there's time, if this video doesn't go on and on too long in the early stages, we'll actually start the process of pursuing some of these gift challenges. And, we'll just do a couple, or I don't know, we'll see how it goes. That's where it gets a little fuzzy, but we'll see how it goes. And then perhaps if I end up doing a stream later on, during the stream, we'll continue with the pursuit of all of the gifts. But let's don't get ahead of ourselves. I think appropriately so, the first thing to do is to look at these patch notes. If you're new to my videos, I need to give you a warning. I do tend to ramble a little bit. This is not like a really slow, short and pithy look at all of this. I potentially take a little bit of time going through it. I can already see one thing I want to do here. All right. So let's take a look at the patch notes. So this was released on Tuesday in the afternoon by TP Catch. And these were the official patch notes of the update that went into RF4. Since then, there's been another brief downtime and sort of reset of things. But as far as I know, this is the meat of what has changed. So the first message is the New Year's approaching, and at this magical time, we couldn't leave you without gifts. There will be many of them, and we hope you enjoy them. This year, we have changed the concept, making it much more interesting. We will see about that. Tight lines. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. So always appreciate the positive messages we get from the RF4 admin and development team. Okay, so New Year's fairs are open on multiple water bodies. New Year's challenges have been implemented. Log into the game before January 8th or January 7th Eastern to finish the challenges and receive gifts for each completed stage. So you've got 30 days to do them. And we'll briefly touch on sort of how that used to work versus how it works now in just a moment. Access to the archive of records for previous years have been implemented. So I hope I remember to check this, but I believe what that means is we no longer just see the most recent year's records, but now they're going back and there's an archive. So that's cool. 5 new fish species have been added to Yama. This is something we will not get to in this video. I have not spent as much time at Yama as many of you have, and so if I look at this, it will be later on, and the challenge will be, can I even recognize the 5 new fish species based on the limited time I've spent there, but we'll see. The cost of repairing the electric reel engine has been reduced. This seems like great news for any of those folks who have gotten one of these. Immediately, the feedback I heard was that, yeah, it's really cool, but it's cost inefficient. It's way too expensive to repair. So hopefully that's been fixed. The durability of WTA line guides on Pilker and boat rods has been increased, and that's great because those line guides were going south quickly. So I don't think that necessarily does anything for us when we already have, an expensive Pilker or boat rod whose line guides are already, pretty far down, but that is something you can repair, and next time through, hopefully it will wear a lot slower. New versions of the Reef Electro Raptor reels are available for sale in different colors. So again, hopefully we'll have a chance to look at this in the store if I remember. Adjustments were made to the preferences of fish on Yama and the Norwegian Sea. So I feel like that line there just gets snuck in there. I don't know if the next line is actually defining that more. And this is something that often comes up with patch notes, is there's this intentional vagueness that's difficult. But, you know, Yama probably, in my opinion, needed a little bit of a buff. Some of the fish species probably needed to be a little easier to attract or get. But I'm nervous about what that means about Norway. The next line does say additional adjustments were made to fish preferences for the marine rigs, giant silicone jigging rig, dead fish jigging rig, bottom with rattling weight. So if you have progressed far enough to use those rigs, or if you look at sites like VK or other sites where the people are reporting what they're catching and what they're catching them on, you see the giant silicone jigging rig on there quite a bit. Some of the other two there maybe a little bit, but especially that first one. So I'm wondering, is this a buff or a nerf? And I don't know. It doesn't say. And unfortunately, if I had to guess, I would say this could be a slight nerf, although it may be that it just wasn't working as intended in some ways. So it could be a buff, although I'll be surprised if it's a significant buff. I think that giant silicone jigging rig was already, for me at least, doing some pretty good work. But I'm anxious to hear if you've tried it, or as we get to play a little more over these holidays, to see what the changes were to those rigs. The wariness of fish species to the presence of running boat motor nearby has been reduced, and that's good. I've heard from several people that spend a lot of time at Archie or, you know, Tunguska or Volkov, whatever, that they do feel like that trolling took an unnecessary hit when that change was implemented. So hopefully this sort of finds a medium or middle ground where we're not scaring away fish too much and trolling becomes even more of a enjoyable activity once again. So we fixed the happy hour bonus that was interrupted when the premium subscription expired. And happy hour bonus is active for all players. Premium get double. Game world reset, which means fish change habits and preferences for baits and lures. And there's a little note if you've started the happy hour bonus. And the duration of the bonus will only be doubled the next time it's activated, not the time that you activate premium. So if you get premium, it may not benefit you till the next day. Okay, so there's the patch notes. Again, trying to go through them fairly quickly, all things being considered. Now, let's look at a couple things we read about. So first of all, records and ratings. How is this working? So these are all the records from this past year. Absolutes. I mean, this is still from the past year. So, oh, here's the archive. Okay, this is cool. So it just took me finding the button over here on the left side. So as we move forward, they're going to just archive these years, so you can look back and see, well, you know, what was the ASP doing in 2021? Wow, look at that. We haven't tried going for asp with bleak as bait fish in quite a while, because here in 2023, we've been very focused on lures. All the asp have been coming in on lures. Why don't we go try using bleak again? Which, by the way, those are probably mostly coming in when people are going for the those valuable fish. Why do we call them pizza fish? I can't remember. Because their name almost looks like pepperoni or something. I don't know. Whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Those fish we used to catch on bleak at Tuba. Maybe that's why people ended up catching those record asp on them as well. I don't know. But either way, you get what I mean. That archive system, that's very cool. Is there anything else we need to look at from the patch notes to confirm any of the changes? I'm pulling them up again. I was going to briefly look at the Reef Electro Raptor. This is not the best store to look at because here we are at Mosquito. Let's just look up Electro. That should do it, right? Oh yeah, look at that. That is awesome. And I'll have to remember to look at this at Norway or somewhere else. It may be It may be that these are gold only. I don't know if I'll remember to look once we get to, you know, again, we're at Mosquito. I mean, you're not going to ever blame them for not having the best stock here at Mosquito on the Electro Raptor Gold, which requires you to be level 32 to even use. But that's very cool. Very excited to see that. All right. So let's briefly look at the New Year's Fair, and then we'll dig into the gift system this year and how that's working. And maybe we'll actually do a few minutes of fishing. Let's quickly look at the actual fair itself. This is where you can get food. A couple of new things just for what it's worth. Tangerines. You do get 10 portions, so not the worst thing in the world, I guess. And then the Cuban ice wine, which this is 2 portions, gold only. I don't know where this wine fits on the spreadsheet of, you know, bonus XP. It's probably a pretty good one. I think the wines give you pretty good, not the top, but decent. Full-bodied muscat with golden amber color, so that's cool. Anything that's worth mentioning about stuff available? I don't know. You'd have to compare. Like, is this alcohol actually more affordable and less likely to plummet your health than some of the other inexpensive alcohols? I'm not sure. Now, Sabitin, I really like. I have 14 portions of this. There's just every once in a while where I am both hungry and uncomfortable because of rain or extreme heat or whatever that makes your comfort level go down. And this helps both. It seems to give you a little bit of hunger, nourishment, as well as brings that comfort level back up, even in the worst of storms. So I've always enjoyed having a bunch of Sabitin. Hopefully I'll remember maybe to buy 100 of them or something. Cup of tea. If you like tea and you don't feel like crafting a bunch, this is a very inexpensive way of getting tea. Although I craft tea, so I don't really need it. But I don't know if there's anything here. There's a story about the lollipops, but we'll save that for another time. It ended up not working out. You know, it's just random food. All right, so let's talk about the New Year's Fair. One thing I do kind of want to do, and this is going to take me just a moment to set it up, but if you'll be patient with me, I think this could be interesting. I'm going to just go to Kilted Jock's spreadsheet. I'll try to remember to put links to both Blunty and Kilted Jock's spreadsheet in the underneath this video, in case you don't already have those bookmarked. You want to get on that. What I want to pull up though is the real sheet, the comparison down for the conventionals. So let me get down to where the conventionals are. Not classic bait casting. Here's conventional. Okay. Because there is one new product. I think is this the only new product in the whole store? I think it is. Okay. And it's called the Trident California 40. I think it looks pretty cool. If you like that sort of marble, it's not quite a camo look. That's probably a name for that, but that color. But I'm not fancy enough to know what it is. But I think it's a cool looking reel. But I wanted to dig in a little bit and let's see what this compares to, because they're asking 40 grand for it, right? 40,000 silver, or if you have some gold saved up, you are getting it at half price on gold. So that's interesting. By the way, gold's on sale. So there's the thought, but I'm not encouraging that, of course. Okay, max drag. Oh, it's already on this. They've already got it added. Kilted Jock is ahead of me here. It's taken me, what, 2 or 3 days since this update happened for me to find time to sit down and make this video. In fact, by the way, I should have said this earlier. This is the first time I'm looking at this stuff. I haven't had a chance these last few days to even play or look at it since the update, but I don't remember what. Okay, Anyway, let's just look at this. All right, so it's 26.3 rated drag. Of course, we don't have a mech weight yet. And that's so important to evaluate these things. But just based on the information we do have, I wanted to see what this was comparable to. All right, so we've got 26.3 drag, and we've got at 0.32, 1,634 meters of line. So big spool. Let's just see where this falls in at comparatively, if I can eyeball it and get close. 26.3. You know, it's interesting. It looks like this sits somewhere where there really isn't anything super close to it. I might argue that, all right, so you have the Taiga LTD C40TS. And I'd have to go to the store to pull that up. It's a little weaker than this. It only comes in at 24.5. The line length is 1364. So California 40 has better line length, more strength, and it's 4,500 silver cheaper. Now, the bad news is, and this is going to be a sort of almost a disqualifying feature for me. This only has one gear ratio. So to give up the second gear ratio in favor of a little bit more power and a little bit more line, I just don't think I could do it. And we don't have confirmation, at least yet, what the mech weight is. Although I'll tell you, I'll be surprised if the mech weight is less than, you know, I don't know, whatever. I think the mech weight will be strong enough that you can run it at the full amount that line even allows you to, or that we typically run. What am I talking about? Like one, let me pull it up really quick. Do I have it out? Yeah. So like I would imagine the mech weight's going to be enough that you could do 181. I could be wrong though. I mean, that's not a safe assumption necessarily. I mean, if you look it down at the Cardinal 32S, its mech weight is 153 and it's in the price range. So it might not be a safe assumption, but I'll tell you, I think that having, and unless you can actually talk to someone that's used this and kind of get feedback, not having a second gear ratio or the specific information on the mech weight, to me, that's a deal breaker. But it looks like a great deal if you're willing to give up that second gear ratio and take a chance on the mech weight. Okay, so just real quickly, let me just say I have the Tama Sal 5000. I'm not necessarily talking about for Norway, but for just about anywhere else, really solid 18 kilo max drag trolling bait caster. Actually, I don't know, the first year this reel came out, a bunch of my viewers my stream viewers pitched in together and gave me this as a gift. It was amazing. But that is an awesome reel. I love using it. One of my favorite deals in the store, if you're just looking for a light setup, so this is a 2000 size reel, and this would be perfect for a bait casting light setup. Think about maybe you're wanting to have a setup especially for something like char, you know, fishing for char out at the old Ladoga. Or obviously you could use this at Corey comfortably, but this is just a really nice, if you're trying to put something together to fit that kind of light category, so you need a 2000 reel. If you compare this to what's in the store, this is a steal at 2100 silver. And it's a blast to use. So just saying. Now, you'll hear a lot of good reports on, let's see, people use the Overlord, right? A lot of people use this either for carp or even for sturgeon. So think about the Overlord. If you're saving up for a big spinning reel, it's at least worth considering. I've also heard good things about the Silver 80, but there's a reason why it's not as expensive or as good as the Overlord. So just to keep that in mind. If you're looking for float fishing, I guess not all of it's float fishing. They have some spinning stuff. I don't really hear people talking about the rods that much at the fair, unless you just want a cool looking float rod. I don't know. The line, it's fine. Just notice that I think the thickness of this line might be a little bit larger than the competitors in the store. Other than that, this is very affordable line for the strength, but I think it's too thick if I remember correctly. Check me though, I might be wrong, but I think that's the only issue you run into. All these lures are great, especially these first two as, you know, candidates for ultralight setups. Whether you're fishing at Belaya or Corey or wherever, these are worth looking at and thinking about, and this is the only time of year when you can purchase them. They're all made by Pomar, and they tend to do really well. If you're really into carp fishing, you probably want to get a few boilies from the fair just to complete your collection, since these are the only time you can get them. I will occasionally use them. Frankly, I've never been in a place where I was like, oh, I'm so glad I have that Pomar boilie. But it's fun. You've got a couple different dips as well. You know, challenge of the week is finding the setup for your beetroot dip. Corn syrup a little easier, but get back to me on beetroot. Among the best things in the fair, in my opinion, are these floats though. I really like these feather floats. Don't get them confused with the free feather float you get at the beginning of the game. These are actually quite good and easy to read in the water. I like using those. And in terms of wagglers, these are amongst the best in the game. Bait fish floats, there just aren't that many of them, but for wagglers, you've got a lot of different wagglers in the game, but these are great. There is one other brand that I like maybe just as much, if not slightly better, but these compete with any other waggler in the game. And then, of course, feeders. They've got some inline, very inexpensive feeders that are fine, you know. So those are kind of some of the initial thoughts I have on what's available in the fair. Worth looking into. Just depends on what you're in the market for. That's really interesting. Let me see if I can just go to floats, if I can find. Yeah. So these Ataman. This would be another float that I like, that maybe competes with the wagglers. Oh, here it is. Here's Atamar. So, sorry, what I just showed you, these are regular floats, which I do like those regular floats. But if we're talking about wagglers, so what you might use to fish for a little bit larger fish, you've got these Pomars, but then you also have the Ataman. I mean, that would be the other brand that I like a little bit. I think these Total Casts are pretty decent. I've just used these Pomars so much. I think those are just worth mentioning. Okay, so there's a New Year's fair, and there's the fair. And I think that's enough about it. Again, if you want more, I have previous year's videos. If you just search fair or New Year's fair, I've linked them below. Any video I've put out in this past month, I think I've linked to the New Year's Fair videos from past years. Or come by my stream if you have any specific questions, and I'll try to answer them there. Okay, so back in the day, I say back in the day, every year until this year, since they've had these presents for us to get this time of year, this is what it's involved. Float fishing here at Mosquito. So, for example, something I would often do, maybe get an 18 size hook, perhaps put maggot, and you want something with a really good bite rate. So like maggot and bloodworm. What's the depth at? Let's go to maybe, let's just go to 80 centimeter depth here. So back in the day, what you would do is you would come to this very dock here at Mosquito Lake, and you would have to float fish. And every time you threw it in there, oh, of course we just started happy hour. Every time you threw it in there, when you caught a fish, there was a small chance that the fish would turn into a present. And all of the presents that were available to catch were listed on a sign right next to this dock. And so people really spent just hours and hours and hours catching all of their presents. And because there's obviously a lot of RNG to that process, for some folks it would take so long that they might give up or get frustrated, and so they wouldn't complete it. Most people, if you really cared though, if you stuck to it, it wasn't too hard to complete. You just had to put the time in. So anyway, we haven't even gotten a bite here, but if you get a bite, then you pull it in, and there, boom, it had a chance of turning into a present. The sign was right here. Again, previous videos if you want to see what that was like. Well, now they have changed it, and this is what it's been changed to. You see this new 2024 New Year's challenges that button that's been added. And I haven't really looked at this closely, but we have both regular and premium challenges. So we've got 7 stages of premium and 7 stages of regular. So stage 1 of regular, it looks like it has us starting at mosquito. Look at this, catch 7 species of fish on mosquito using float tackle. Again, I haven't looked at these yet. So we can catch crucian gibel at least 1 kilo. We can do that on feeder, it looks like. Catch common roach at least 700. We can do that on feeder. But 7 species on float. That's kind of annoying. I guess we can get there. That's a little harder than I would expect stage 1 to get. To be. Maybe I'm just not thinking of all the species that'll be easy. Perch, crucian gibel, Chinese sleeper if you're patient, roach. Man, I hate to have to include bream. You could get it, but not fun. Rough, put it towards the bottom at night. What's going to be, something like a chub if we have worm, or I don't know. I guess you're going to get to 7 because you're going to, if you have worm and stuff like that, and you're going to catch something weird that you weren't expecting to catch. So maybe it's not too bad. Stage 2 has us at mosquito or winding. And then bloodworm. Catch 7 species of fish on bloodworm at mosquito. So you almost want to start working on that. I wonder if you can work on stage 2 before completing stage 1. You might have to do them in order. We'll have to track that. So then we go to winding, mosquito, winding or mosquito. I guess I'm just trying to see. Yeah, it looks like all of these take place at winding or mosquito, which apparently what that signals to me is that they decided to commit to everyone being able to participate, even if it was a level 1 player. Which is cool because, this time of year, that encourages people to make alt accounts, and you can immediately come work on this stuff. On the premium side, stage 1 is a Volgazander using spin. That's going to have to be down there at camp. That's not easy, by the way. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's a specific lure. It's going to be at night, right? Catch a gudgeon weighing at least 90 on winding using float. I don't feel like that's too bad. We'll see, though. Common carp at least 3 using bottom tackle on mosquito. I don't know. I think in the pond, we could probably just throw in some carp boilies and eventually get lucky. But I've never gone for, I don't remember ever targeting common carp at, this is at mosquito. Sorry, I was still thinking winding. Yeah. Common carp at mosquito. Yeah, you could get there eventually, right? So anyway, that's how this works. You go through these stages, and every time you complete a stage, whether it's the free path or the premium path, you're going to get a gift bag. And then the gift bag is going to have something random. In the past, gift bags have had stuff like this. So, a pack of lemonade or a pack of chocolates Some of the more expensive prizes would be anything that's alcohol. These are cool, you know, packet of lures. I just like not opening these things. I think I started that a couple years ago just because it's cool to see it in your inventory. But you just get random stuff, right? Like hooks or bait or, you know, these sort of food items. But then especially with the premium bags, which that's one thing I'm curious about, because this year there's more premium bags than ever before. I think I remember there being 2 in the way it worked last year. But now that there's more premium bags, again, I haven't looked at anything. I mean, this information may already be out there because this thing's been live long enough that there's probably people that have long since completed these tasks. But in the past, you know, at least one of the 2 premium bags had a very tiny % chance of having a really nice piece of gear that's like a, you know, customized piece of gear for this event. And so you would see every once in a while somebody get really lucky with RNG and get one of those. So I'm curious, what are the 4, 5, 6, 7 premium bags going to have in them? Another thing that you typically can get from the regular bags was 1 day of premium. So if you're willing to really grind it out, you could activate your premium for free because you've got it from a regular bag, and then try to go get some of those premium bags. Another really valuable gift item in the past has been the gift voucher, which allows you to turn any fish into to taxidermize it for free. So like if you do a big fish, I mean, that can be a lot of silver, so it's really nice. All right, let's just start working on a couple of these just so we can, for fun, kind of see how this is going to work. Crucian or gibel weighing at least 1 kilo. Common roach, 700 grams. So I just think right off the bat here, I'm thinking we put in 2 feeders with pearl barley on one, and then bread or something, whatever's in the weekly for big crucian gibels on the other. And then the third thing, we go ahead and put a float in with bloodworm to see if it starts working towards this. Let's just go ahead and answer this question that we have. All right, so we're going to use our, I think I'm going to use regular feeders in case we, because I'm not sure how we're going to set up the hooks yet, and then we'll use this. Okay, so let's get this set up. So I think we want to go a little smaller. Actually, we'll just try it like this. So I think let's go maybe an 8 with pearl barley. I have no idea. We're just going to start trying some stuff. And we're just going to put crucian gibel ground bait on there for now. And then on this one, actually, we need to look. Let's see if we can tell anything about weeklies. So many people are catching crucian gibels on mosquito right now, correct? So I have a feeling that there's at least a chance that there actually might be some mosquito information. Yeah. So wet bread, cottage cheese, caramel cream brulee, nightcrawler worm. That's float. All right, so let's do, yeah, we'll try cottage cheese at first, I guess. That's going to be more consistent on big, I would think. Actually, no. I tell you what, let's do. Let's do a large one hook to really go big, but then let's use bread to try to attract more fish. Bread is so general, right? All right, so this is what we're going to try. Now the question is, where do we try it? I think we're actually going to start off here. I was going to take us, I think the other place you might want to try is like down at G9. But let's just start right over here. And let's just see what the bite rate's like here. Typically, you can catch a lot of different things right here at the dock. Now, at first, we're going to go double bloodworm. And we will stay with that small hook size. And let's go down to 1 meter. I don't want to put it out there very far, like right there. All right. Ooh, forgot. All right, first fish is a gibble. All right, we need to investigate. I think that just counted towards a future task. So you might be able to work on multiple tasks at the same time, not just the first stage. All right, so here's our first fish species. All right, that's a crucian. That's towards 3 tasks. 7 species of fish, float, 7 bloodworm, 15 on mosquito. All right. Yeah, this is going to be interesting, especially with this bloodworm thing. I think we probably have that a little too deep. We'll see. Your biggest crucian gibbles should come out in the evening or early morning. Oh yeah, this is really getting to me, the fact that I have it set up with out of order for the number. I need to put this over here and just live with it. All right, I want to check something. Imagine the amount of activity that mosquito has on VK right now compared to normal. All right, is this our second fish species on bloodworm? Looks like it is. And it is a Chinese sleeper, so that's 3 tasks. All right. Same 3 tasks, we'll take it. Oh, that's not going to be far enough, I don't think. That might work. I'm just curious where people are going for their... Oh, there it is. All right. So there is over a kilo on crucian. So we kind of need to think about what do we want to do now that we've hit that. Let's go back to our task list. So we really need to focus on the roach now, I would say. So let's look and see if roach happened to be doing anything strange this week. So let's go common roach. Again, so many have been caught here at Mosquito that we may even see common roach show up as... No, everything is other places. That's true. Even here, I bet caddisfly. Even here, caddisfly is tempting. I think we could switch ground bait to roach ground bait, though. That might help a little bit. All right. Mayfly larva, semolina. All right, let's go mayfly and caddisfly. All right, first of all, let's go roach mix. We need to make some more. Size 8 is fine. All right, caddisfly. I would imagine they are here as well, but let's, because they're kind of everywhere. All right, so we did caddisfly on that one. Let's do, we want to go 8 hook with mayfly larva. It's getting a little late for roach. It may still work, but we've got to keep going with these bloodworms. 2 tasks. Oh, that was the first gibble on bloodworm, actually. All right, let me see what people are saying over on VK right now. All right, so they're catching. There's a bream spot. So if we had to try to get Bream as a species here for some reason. There is a bream spot. All right, here we go. Here's a spot for, it looks like they're catching some common carp. This is the kind of thing you need for that one. Is that a gibble? Yeah. Oh yeah, I need to make roach ground bait. Let's see what else we caught here. This may just not be a good roach spot. Nice sleeper. Catch a sleeper weighing 220 grams. We're finishing stuff that I didn't even know we were working on right now. Very sweet. Very kind. Thank you, Gray Fox. I don't know what this stuff is, but okay. Let's see. Actually, I should check, because if it's... Yeah, this is what I figured. I mean, that's okay, but I mean, when am I going to ever use that, right? I won't be able to read it. I won't know what it is. Is this going under? It did several times, I'm sure. Okay. What am I doing right now? Still trying to find those roach. Let me see if I see anything about roach. All right, 89, 88. I mean, I see a roach there, but not many. Looks like a lot of people are fishing at 89, 88 or thereabouts. So cool that there's a all right, there's so many spots right now. If you need information, VK is your friend. Might as well keep going with our let's see. Oh yeah, 89, 88 by the way is all the way around. What are we saying, clip 10? It's a little bit of a haul and it's a little late for that, so let's don't do that. I'm just kind of trying to, I just wanted to throw stuff in one more time to see about a lucky roach before the overnight sets in, and then we'll just wrap it up here. Again, I'll do more of this probably on stream, or maybe we'll see if we do another video or turn the stream into a video. I don't know, something. This is pretty much going to be in the same spot we've been fishing. I was hoping to get this first present so that we could just at least sort of see the first present at the end of this video. But the time of day is working against us. I didn't really think about that. But the time of day is definitely working against us with roach. It's kind of like now or never. So we're going to throw a Hail Mary here. I mean, really the roach are everywhere typically, so... I do appreciate how quickly the bite rate has been popping off on these bloodworms when we need to like go 3 rods with bloodworms at some point to try to figure out how to get this 7 species on bloodworms. At least it won't be a long wait for bites. We're just, you know. Oh man, never mind. We're nowhere near finishing this, are we? Because we've still got to do the float, the final part of it. I wasn't really thinking of, like, we also need to catch 7 species on float. So once we get the roach, we then sort of have to transition towards all float fishing. Which one thing we should do it, you know, while we have nighttime is maybe try to get that bream and a rough, which I'll, you know, again, probably do that off video because this could go on, you know, trying to figure out the spots. All right, so there's the roach. So we are catching a roach here. Now it's just a matter of the right size. And we could go, now that we know they're here, I guess technically we could just like go with a much bigger hook size and just try to sit on a really large roach. It probably would happen in the morning though. I don't know that it's going to happen before nighttime sets in. Been so sloppy on the float fishing just because of the chaotic nature of like trying to figure all this out, but float fishing is a lot more manageable these days on mosquito, or in especially these early places, than it used to be. The bites and everything are just a little easier to read than they used to be, and they don't go on forever. It's still more fun to float fish for bleak and dace and stuff like that than it is for gibel, crucian, roach, but it's just not as bad as it used to be. It's got something nibbling on that third rod, but it's not there yet. And it looks like we do have a fish on here, but I don't think it's going to be big enough. Man, I do just keep messing up these bites, don't I? So if the bream are biting on cottage cheese dough and stuff like that, then you could just go overnight, float for one of those. And like I said, catch a rough, potentially just knock a couple of species out on float to make the rest of the process a little easier. Not large enough. Close, but not large enough. So the tricky part with rough and with bream, you probably want to fish off the bottom with your float. Just constant nibble, unless that's just the, yeah, there's definite nibble there. Oh, did I mess it up again? That was so violent, I figured that was good. Looks like I messed it up again. Clearly I'm better at bottom fishing than I am float fishing. That is another roach that's not quite big enough. I like that you're working towards multiple tasks at the same time. Okay, does this have a chance of being big enough? I think it does. Yes. At least 700 grams. Okay, we got it. So we got those pretty quickly. All things being considered, we got those pretty quickly. So what's left is to actually work on, to get that first bag, to work on 7 species of fish, which you might as well, you're going to want to use other baits, I guess, but you might as well at least be using 1 bloodworm, because you're going to need 7 bloodworm for the next one. So, I mean, I don't know. Other than just being impatient about getting that first bag, I'm not sure what the advantage of not just going ahead and doing both at the same time would be. It's probably what you should be. By the way, this would be a good time to eat a little bit of spittin' and see if we can see our comfort level go up a little bit. look what we just caught on float. So now we have a bream on float. That is very good. Okay, and you do see that our comfort level is going up now. Our hunger level went up, now our comfort level is going up. Don't forget, when you're working on all of this stuff at Mosquito, you might as well check the cafe, because you're gonna have you know, a few cafe orders here or there just from, you know, catching random fish. So let's see, 6, 7, 9, 92. There we go. All right. So you might as well do the cafe orders as well. Okay. So that is, that's going to do it. This has been a long video. Like I said, I think one of two things will happen. I'm definitely going to continue to work on these challenges. I want to open up some of these bags, see what's in the premium bags as much as we can. But I probably will do it either on stream, or if I don't end up streaming, or if I don't end up doing it on stream a whole lot, then I'll sort of do some random videos here and there as throughout the process potentially. But either way, it's pretty cool. Okay, as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. I know it's been a very lengthy, talky video, but we did get a little bit of fishing in at the end. And if you have questions, feel free to leave comments here. Also, come join us on Twitch if I'm streaming at the time, and you can ask questions there. So thanks for hanging out. Tight lines. Merry Christmas to you and yours. See you very soon. Tight lines.